Before you begin crafting your application for the NEBOSH Diploma Scholarship, it is very important for you to actually understand the why behind the scholarship, as this is going to inspire your writing, which is why the judges actually want to see like your why. So the scholarship was actually established in memory of Michael Adamson, a worker who lost his life in a preventable workplace accident in the UK. You can actually read up his story via the NEBOSH website. So the purpose of this is that understanding his background helps you connect emotionally with the purpose of the scholarship, and it will actually guide the tune of your essay, because when you truly understand that this opportunity, which is actually the scholarship, was born out of a loss, which is like a preventable loss, it helps you align your essays with the mission, which is to create a safer workplace. Also, it is important to note that to be eligible for you to apply for the NEBOSH Diploma Scholarship, you must already hold a NEBOSH General Certificate. So whether it's the national or the international. So now let's go into the scholarship question and show you how you can actually address them. We'll be starting with the first question, which is asking you about what learning from the NEBOSH General Certificate have you used in your workplace? So the approach we are going to be using today is I will walk you through the process on how to answer these questions, share sample responses that I've generated for the sole purpose of this webinar. And after that, I will call on some recipients to also share their personal experience and what they actually did differently that made their application successful during the period they were applying. So first, let's break this question down. It is actually asking you two things in one question. It is asking you, what are the key learnings you gained from the NEBOSH General Certificate? How have you applied those learnings in your workplace? So breaking this into these elements will help you to ensure that every prompt of the question that you are answering them directly. So when answering these questions, don't just rush into generic responses. Instead, take a structured approach. And to me, I will highly recommend the STAR approach. The STAR approach stands for situation, task, action, and result. So the situation is talking about what is the challenge, what is the issue at hand. You need to describe the situation so that like the judges actually need to see through the issue that you want to talk about. So after that, you talk about the task, which emphasizes about your role and your responsibility in that situation and what you did differently that show your personal contribution to address the situation. And the action is talking about the step by step you guys maybe as a team, but with your own visible impacts that you guys took to address the issue. And the result is talking about the outcome. And there is a mistake most people make. They just go ahead and state the results. You don't just do that, but you make sure that your results are measurable. So let me give you an example using this format. Um, Note that these examples, like they were created, like I said earlier on, for the sole purpose of this webinar. So it doesn't reflect my own or anyone's personal experiences. Also, don't be tempted to use these examples. A lot of persons are on this call. So if they use the same story, you all lose out, right? So these examples are just to guide your thoughts on how to come up with a very structured response to address the question. So using the approach, let's create an example that answer the NEBOSH question on what learning from the NEBOSH General Certificate have you used in the workplace. So if I'm to start with the situation, but I will try as much as possible to ensure I give you guys detailed responses to how to answer those questions. So what I'll advise you to do is probably have a pen and a paper. I will try as much as possible not to be too fast, though I talk too fast, but I will try to slow down to ensure that I break every point for you to understand how to approach those questions. I don't know if that is clear.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So answering this question using the STAR approach, which I've already stated how the structure looks like. You shouldn't follow the structure in totality, like starting with the situation, the task, the action, and result. Anyone that works for you, that is good. But ensure they have these elements for the purpose of clarity and cohesiveness. So, if I'm to state my situation here, I will say before obtaining my NEBOSH general certificate, my company was experiencing a high number of road accidents involving our drivers. Despite imposing penalties on those drivers to discourage reckless driving, among others, the accident persisted, posing a risk to life and company reputation. Now, this is my situation. You have laid the foundation on which you can build further through talking about the task and what you did. So let's look at an example for the task we can use to build upon what we already have. So after completing the NEBOSH, someone's hand is up. Joy, sorry.
Yes, please. Sorry, sir. Is that number 9? Is that the question you are responding to?
Yeah, I'm starting from the first question, which is like asking
Yeah,
you
9.
about the learnings from the
Yeah,
IG
okay.
and how
All
you've
right.
used that in your workplace.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other question? All right. I will continue. So going straight to the task, you can structure your task by building upon what you have in your situation, because the situation is you've created a problem, you've created the issue, the challenge that is on board. Now the task is after completing the NEBOSH General Certificate Accident Investigation Module, I took it upon myself to analyze past incident reports and extracted relevant information. Through this, I discovered that one major contributing factor to this accident were the lack of refresher training for our drivers. None had received additional training in the past 3 years. Through my line manager, I informed management of my findings and the fact that our drivers' 3 year lack of refresher training was the primary contributor to this accident. Now, the picture is becoming clearer. They're already saying, oh, this is the problem, and this is your role, the role you played to uncover deeper root cause of this problem. Now they want to see what is the step-by-step action that you as a person took to address those issues. So now you have to now then move into the action. So you can talk about the action in this way. Determined to address this issue, I initiated the development of a robust refresher training program. The curriculum included defensive driving techniques and hazard perception skills. I also pushed for the inclusion of pre-trip inspections for our vehicles and collaborated with supervisors to ensure accountability. Now, you've told them this is what you as an individual did, apart from the general contribution from other groups. So now, moving ahead, they will want to say, what is the outcome of all the stories that you are telling us? What were you able to achieve? Because they want to see the result. So you can start the result by saying, like, within 6 months, we recorded 60% drop in road-related accidents. Additionally, drivers' compliance with safety procedures improved by 40% and overall staff morale increased. We are done answering the question for number one. So, to me, using the STAR approach makes your work concise and straight to the point without you beating around the bush. And when you try to do those things, remember what you have is just only 250 words. And 250 words can be limiting for you to say a whole lot that you have. So using the STAR approach makes your work cohesive and very clear to follow. So these examples I used here is just based on accident investigation model, right? So what I will encourage you to do is to use at least 3 good examples from different NEBOSH general certificate models. You need to go back to, because I know a lot of us we've not opened our maybe our textbook since we finished the IGC, because it's already in us. We already know what we are doing currently now after passing through that process. But it will do you more good to go back to your textbooks, understand which model, what is the model talking about, and this model will help you to find a way to fine-tune your story, and your story should be speaking to any of those models that you want to use. So you can decide to speak about chemical hazards and control if it's actually in relation to your own story, right? You can decide to talk about manual handling and ergonomics depending on your own story, risk assessment, contractor management, fire safety. We have a lot of models that we all took when we are writing our general certificate. So you have to now check out for those models and align them to your own story. Remember, these guys are professionals and they are judges that have done this over the years. So they are very good at spotting when you try to lie. So I won't advise you to lie, but you see the way I generated this story. Every one of us have stories to tell. But the issue is, how do we tell these stories? So find a way to tell your story in a very convincing, and like when someone listening to those stories, they feel, oh, this is what really happened, and I feel for this person. Because the sole purpose of this scholarship, it's based on workplace safety, and someone had an accident. So you need to connect the emotions so that when someone is reading your response, they will see the emotional connection between your writing, your professional experience, and where you are coming from. So also make sure example is rooted in your personal experiences. A whole lot of persons, I remember vividly my first application, I was talking about my experience, like professional experience. It wasn't deeply rooted to personal experience within the workplace. So make sure it's rooted in your personal experience. Don't just also say we did we did this, we did that. No, use I. So because like this helps to emphasize your personal contribution. Avoid vagueness, like using vague words that doesn't pass across meaningful information. Sometimes we do that in our writing. So, but in this kind of writing that you are limited by just 250 words, avoid using vague words that doesn't add meaningful information to your story. And lastly, I think you need to ensure your results, they are measurable. You have different ways of measuring your results. So some persons feel comfortable using percentage. You can talk about the reduction in the accident rate. You can talk about the achievement of your manpower based on what you implemented in your workplace. Anyone you feel comfortable using, but make sure it is very measurable, and you also state the issue. Let them see the bigger picture of what was on ground then, and at the result time, what you now then achieved. So this is the structured way to answer this question. So the next question is asking you, why do you want to achieve a NEBOSH diploma for occupational health and safety management professional? So again, this question seeks to understand your passion and your personal motivation. Your answer should be a blend of both personal and professional reasons. Don't just lead too much on one side. Show your personal story and how it fuels your professional ambition. So this question is not asking you to list your achievements, your experiences. It's about digging deep inside yourself to uncover those emotional and also the personal reasons that you are pushing towards this diploma. So first, you need to start by reflecting on your personal journey. So is there probably any specific incident, perhaps from your childhood or maybe your early career, that shaped your passion for occupational health and safety? It could be a story about a loved one, a colleague, or even you yourself, like where you experience an unsafe work environment. So the judges who are the panels assessing your essays, they actually want to say like the personal reasons behind your desire. So this is the opportunity to shine. So you need to connect those personal stories to your professional journey, and how that event influenced your decision to probably either enter health and safety field. Because some persons, we didn't just come out to say we want to go into a health and safety career. It's out of maybe probably personal experience, things that we've experienced in our career that made us to say, I think this is a career that I feel I should be passionate about. So you need to have these reflections to actually understand. And also, what steps have you taken so far in your career to bring about change? These are the things you need to find a way to talk about them in this question, as this will help to show that your motivation is not just abstract. It is grounded in real life actions and choices, right? So after you have established that link, you will also have to describe the limitations that you've encountered. So despite your passion, your experience, why do you believe that like achieving this diploma is the next logical step for you in your career? So you should be specific here. Maybe me as a person, my own logical steps to go for this NEBOSH diploma is maybe I want to transition into leadership role, or I want to go into consultancy. It's different for every one of us. So you need to identify your own, and you need to be specific. Don't just be vague by saying things that doesn't add any meaning to the essay. Remember, I always emphasize we only have 250 words. So I also believe towards the ending part of the question, you will have to wrap it up like by sharing your future vision. What do you intend to do with the knowledge and the certificate when you actually get them? So some persons might have the intention of like probably they want to advance their knowledge because they want to enter into mentorship, they want to enter into advocacy, they want to even help to drive national policy and influence changes in their country, or even the little grassroots safety education within our local communities. Each and every one of us have our own different ways and things that we want to do. So you should reflect it here so that the panel will actually see what you want to do, and it will be very clear that this is very genuine and achievable. So we'll have to go through a response I've also drafted out for the purpose of this meeting. But remember our approach and our guide initially that we said that you need to also make use of STAR approach. So although some persons also don't use this STAR approach, but they also answer the question correctly. But however, to me, the STAR approach makes your response to be coherent and clear to follow through. So see the example I have here to answer the second question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. The one I have here is, excuse me. My desire to achieve the NEBOSH diploma is deeply rooted in my personal experience that changed the way I approach things in life. At the age of 17, I lost a close childhood friend to an electrocution incident at an informal construction site. There was no training, no personal protective equipment, no supervision on site. His death ignited a fire within me, a passion to prevent such accidents from happening again. This event pushed me to study occupational health and later shaped my decision to work in occupational health and safety. Professionally, I've worked in high-risk industries, including oil and gas, construction, where I've seen the difference that proper safety procedures can make. However, I've come to realize that knowledge alone is not enough. What I need now is strategic and advanced training to elevate my impact. The NEBOSH Diploma will enable me to lead organizational change, drive national level safety campaigns, and advocate for stronger safety regulations in Nigeria and across Africa. For me, the diploma is beyond qualification. It is a promise to the memory of my friend, to my professional growth, and to every worker who deserves to return home safe at the end of the day. You have answered this question, connecting your personal experience, that is where your drive is coming from, connecting your professional experience and linking them up to what you want to achieve. And at the end, you ended this with a statement that is very powerful to me when I was trying to come up with this essay for the purpose of this meeting. I thought through it and it made more sense to me. Like, see the ending. For me, this diploma is beyond the qualification. It is a promise to the memory of my friend. So you are still trying to tell the judges, I'm not just doing this just because of my selfish interest or because of my self elevation in my career, but I'm doing this because I want to honor my friend. The death of that my friend is still within me, that if I see other people maybe going the same based on, like, if there is no much experience or experienced health and safety professional, it can lead to people more accidents and we losing loved ones, right? So you're trying to emphasize to them that you don't want people to die in the workplace again, but you can't do that without the NEBOSH diploma. So they have to give you this NEBOSH diploma. So anything you want to, you can do to prove to the judges, but don't lie, but prove to them that you are, because it's an investment they're making in you, investment, but they believe the return on the investment is you advocating for more safety and ensure people go home safely without experiencing workplace accidents. I don't know if it's very clear.
It is clear. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Victor, have you addressed the issue with your mic? I don't think so. Abanum, are you on the call? Well, people are really busy this period, and it's on Tuesday. So Tuesday, it's crazy for a whole lot of person. So if there is no other question, we can go to the third question for the scholarship. I should go ahead, right?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes,
All right.
please.
All right. Thank you. So the next question is how do you think this qualification will make an impact on your career? So
Good evening.
hello. Sorry, please, can we mute our mic to avoid distraction during the call? So before we look at probably the sample response that we did in the other questions, let's also take a moment to break this question down, and so that, like, we can actually address them very well. Please, can we mute our mic? So this question is actually asking you to focus on your career journey. So they want to know where you are now, where you want to be, and how the NEBOSH diploma will serve as a bridge within these two to connect them together. So the judges are not actually looking for generic goals like, I want to be a better professional, I want to earn a promotion in my workplace. No, that is not what they want to hear. It should be rooted personally to you. They want to see a personal and compiling vision for your future, and how this qualification, like how it's going to play a key role for you to achieve that goal. So me, I always start with personal stories in most of this kind of essay, so that like it should be a reflection of what I actually, or the kind of person I am, and the state I am currently in, and how their help need to maybe, or how they need to give me that scholarship, because I definitely need it. So again, think about your experience from your background, probably perhaps a specific incident or hardship, probably that shaped your career interest. Like, for example, it could be witnessing your parents suffer in an unsafe workplace, or being involved in workplace near misses. So this grounds your ambition in something real, and like it's very relatable when you're talking about them. So after that, you can go ahead and discuss about your current role, and probably the limitations, the challenges. So, or here you will have to be clear about where you are right now in your career, and what are your responsibilities, and what you have achieved so far. Then after this, you will now then have to highlight probably the gaps you have encountered. Maybe this could be the lack of advanced knowledge in risk management, strategic leadership, or even influencing policy in workplace. So this sets up like the need for you to go for this diploma as a person. So, and you also need to connect this diploma to your future career goals. You have to explain how the diploma will help you overcome those limitations. So here, be specific in the sense that you have to mention how it will strengthen your competency in certain areas, like maybe system development, maybe legal frameworks, behavioral safety, name all of them. You could also discuss about your medium and your long-term career goal. Do you want to become a safety consultant? Do you want to lead a national safety campaign? Do you want to even influence legislation, which is most things lacking in um, some developing countries? People, individuals find it very hard to influence workplace health and safety legislation. So this can be a drive for you as a person, that you want to influence the legislation within your country, so that they put in people-centered regulations that talk about the people, not about businesses making profit off people in the workplace that is not safe. So these are the things that you really need to talk about, and be passionate and realistic about these goals. So you will have to make sure your vision is both like ambitious and achievable. Some person's visions might be ambitious, but it's not achievable. That's just the truth. And when someone read those goals, like they will know that you're just trying to massage their ego. So they will really know that you won't achieve it. It's just for the purpose of like trying to make it look sound nice for us. So make sure that your goals, as they are as ambitious, they should also be achievable. Also, talk about what you will do and who will be impacted, and why it matters to you at this time. Why didn't you apply for the Bosch diploma since 2021? Why didn't you apply since 2022? Why now that you need the diploma? Why is it important? Because me, I believe like that the more your answer reflects a deep commitment to workplace safety and community impact, the more memorable it will be like for the judges to remember you, because these judges, they are there, they are reading thousands of application. I think I can't remember our own time, 1,000 plus applied, and believe me, they are glancing through everything. So your first starting should be very compiling and catchy, that when they look at it, oh, this person makes it. And they do, first of all, probably I'm thinking they do the first sieve out people that doesn't make any sense, and they come back again to read again. So the more they read, and if you're talking about workplace safety and community impact, you still become like you are registering in their memory that there's someone talking about workplace safety and community impact. That person is making more sense to me. So try to talk about something that sticks to the judges, and they will use that to remember you. So let's talk about I always have this approach that I'm using. I give you how you need to answer this and give you response, because I believe most of us need this response because we actually want to say practical how those essays should look like. So the response is this. I can start this way using the STAR approach, like we said from the start. Growing up in a low income and industrial neighborhood, I watched my father, an honest, hardworking welder, come home daily with burns, cuts, and untreated injuries. There were no safety procedures, no protective clothing given to them, and no voice to speak for people like him. One day, a gas explosion in his workshop almost claimed his life. That moment left a permanent mark on me. I made a vow to become the advocate my father never had. Today, I'm a health and safety professional in the construction sector. While I have made commendable progress, I know that genuine impact requires more than passion. It requires knowledge which are strategic, evidence-based, and internationally recognized, which is why I believe that the NEBOSH diploma will deepen my understanding of risk management and policy development, equip me to influence national safety issues, enhance my credentials to train and mentor next generation of professionals. My long-time goal is to set up a non-profit organization that provides health and safety education to informal workers and small business owners. These vulnerable groups operate outside regulatory protection, and they are most at risk. With the NEBOSH diploma, I will be better positioned to lead this change, bridge the knowledge gap, influence policy, and save life. And save life. So are you seeing the approach I'm using? I talked about an issue. I talked about how that issue have changed me to the kind of person I am as a health and safety. I talked about, irrespective of, like, I've done a whole lot in my workplace. That's to show, so I'm an intentional person, but there is still something lacking. That passion alone cannot drive these changes that we are looking for in health and safety. You also need the knowledge. And I told them, by having that knowledge should be what? Strategic. It should be evidence-based. So I am putting things that they need to see, so that, like, they will see that I'm addressing that question. And I told them what I believe the diploma will help me to do. And I went ahead to talk about now my long-time career goal of having an NGO and bringing it down to community impact. Because we know maybe in some parts of Africa, the people we have welders that just have their workshop, they don't work for any organization. What is the safety measures they are using? Are they even educated to health and safety standards? Even if it's the little that they need to understand what this does and what this is going to happen to them maybe in the long time, they don't. So having this NGO is more like advocating for these people, providing the knowledge to their doorstep. It's very realistic, and also is a very ambitious goal. So these are the things and the elements that they want to see. Like I said, I created this just for the purpose of this, to push you to think through how you can bring out your own story. Each and every one of us have stories to tell, but it's the difficult thing there. It's how do we start? That is why I said it is not having a webinar guiding them how to write it without giving them the response. They need to see what a winning essay looks like. And with this, you cannot then think through, oh, that experience I was thinking doesn't make any sense. It makes sense. That little thing maybe that have happened in your life and you feel is not relevant, is relevant. Please put it in your essay. So I think we are running out of time. We'll have to go to the next question. But I don't know if Victor and Abono, if they are here. and still they are not here. I think we'll have to go ahead without any of them. But I believe I'm communicating in a way you guys are understanding, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All right. So the next question, I
Yes.
think we still have like three more questions. I'll try to rush, but I'll try my best also to cover everything. The next question is how do you think this qualification will make an impact in your workplace? So now they have shifted from another angle. They are coming to another angle. Now they're asking about your workplace. It is not personal. They are not asking about yourself. They're asking about people that have entrusted their life in you as a health and safety to ensure that the workplace is safe. How will that certification help? So this question shifts the focus away from your personal journey to like your current work environment. So the judges want to know if you are awarded this scholarship and you complete the diploma, how will like your organization benefit from it? So to me, it's an opportunity to show that you are not just focused on your own personal achievement. Yes, we all want to have the NEBOSH diploma, have the maybe deep IOSH on like DipNEBOSH on your name and all those stuff. Yes, those achievements, they are very good and they reflect our commitment to health and safety, but they want to see bigger impact of it beyond your own personal gain, but making a meaningful impact in your workplace. So to structure this response, to for you to structure your response for this, you first of all you have to start with a problem statement, like we did for other essays. State a problem or maybe a gap in your workplace. You can begin with the real example of a challenge or maybe a safety concern. So this could be maybe near miss incident, a recurring hazard, a weak safety culture, poor contractor management, lack of mental health awareness. This is an area a whole lot of health and safety personnel are running away, but it is becoming evident in the workplace that we need to implement mental health awareness programs in the workplace. So this could be the issue that is in your workplace. So by doing this, you are trying to show that you're already thinking critically about your workplace and spotting the opportunities that you want to use to improve them. So you also have to link this problem to limitations of your current knowledge, because you cannot tell them you have this problem, you have the knowledge, then why are you going for the NEBOSH diploma? They also need to see the limitations that, oh, this guy already know, or maybe this lady already know the problem in their workplace, but the issue is he's limited in knowledge. That is why he needs, or that is why she needs the NEBOSH diploma. So by doing this, you want to demonstrate to those judges that you have done your own best within your current capacity, but like that the scale or probably the complexity of the challenge demands more advanced knowledge which you yourself hope to gain through the NEBOSH diploma. So also you have to explain the specific changes you will lead in your workplace after completing the diploma. You have to talk about concrete and actionable initiative that you plan to take. Like it can be maybe overhauling your permit to work system, maybe leading a contractor safety onboarding program, maybe introducing behavioral safety models, launching mental health and well-being campaign, a whole lot of things to tell them that this is the changes you want to bring. So after this, you also have to be like describe the expected outcome, because it can't just be like we want to do this, do it for what will happen, will there be any change? They also want to see the expected outcome. So you will have to end your response by showing the positive change, like these actions will bring, maybe, for instance, like lower accident rates, stronger safety culture, improve staff morale, better compliance. Like we have a whole lot of them, and also try and make those statements very, very measurable by using statistics, percentage, a whole lot of them. It shows the level of change that you are bringing in that organization than just putting that you brought the change, but without putting any measurable outcome to it. So remember, like this question is about your workplace. So the ability to demonstrate your leadership, your critical thinking, and your commitment to protecting the people is what the judges are looking out for. So I developed a response for this question, and I will
Hello,
have
Solomon.
to. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm online now.
Oh,
Sorry,
Mr.
continue.
Victor. All right, so the question we are currently doing, maybe after giving the sample I generated for the purpose of this webinar, you can share your experience on how you address the question during your time when you are applying for the scholarship. So the question is, how do you think this qualification will make an impact in your workplace? So, and I've given them a general overview of how it should look like, how the structure should be, starting with a problem statement and running down to getting the outcome of it. So I will give them a structured response I developed for the purpose of this webinar. So I started this way. Working in a high construction environment, I have witnessed how even minor oversights can lead to major incidents. In 2023, one such oversight during a confined space maintenance task nearly resulted in the asphyxiation of two contract workers. Thankfully, it was a near miss, but it exposed a major gap in our permit to work system and the quality of contractor supervision. This incident shook me. It reminded me that safety isn't static, it remains continuous and it requires continuous learning and adaptation. So the NEBOSH diploma will provide me with the advanced competency needed to overhaul our current system and drive a culture of safety innovation. I plan to lead the redesign of our contractor onboarding program, incorporating dynamic risk assessment, hazard communication, and competency evaluation. Introduce behavior-based safety models to address root causes of unsafe acts. Launch a company-wide health and safety training calendar, including mental health awareness and stress management workshops. My vision is to create a workplace where safety is not just a rule book, but a shared value where every worker, from senior engineer to the cleaners, understand their role in protecting everyone. The NEBOSH diploma will not only enhance my technical abilities, it will position me as a transformational leader committed to building a safer and more resilient workplace. I have tried to answer this question the way it should look like. But the truth is, each and every one of us have our experience and our responses to questions like this differs. That's where the personal element comes in play. I'm just giving you the general overview of how you can answer this question, but it is not in totality, this is the way it is. You can have a way you yourself try to respond to this question and you do it in a perfect way. So with that, I will have to allow Victor to give us his own view and his own experience in answering this question during the period he applied for his scholarship. So to give the context, Victor won the scholarship in 2022. That was the year I told you guys I lost the scholarship, but in 2023 I won. So he is a senior scholar within the NEBOSH scholarship program. So Victor, I give you the floor to maybe in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, share your view about what you think and how they can respond to this question very well.
Hello, Mr. Solomon. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is amazing. The platform, the dedication, the time, the sacrifice, even from the participants. Amazing time. Okay, because of our time, um, Solomon has said a lot, and I believe he has also touched on every critical aspect. The major points we need to know in regards to this scholarship. During my time, the questions are still the same. They are still the same. So from 2022, 23, 24, 25, the same questions. So one thing I would advise, just to add to what Solomon has said, is for us to study the statements by all the winners. Okay, NEBOSH has this culture of highlighting the winners' key statements. So in all of the things the winners wrote, right, there are some key statements that NEBOSH would pick out and then use it as probably their publications and to announce this winner. So if you could create time, pick those winners from the inception of 2021, study their statements, and then try to get the synergy between all of them. So it also helps to drive you towards the path that NEBOSH is seeking prospect candidates to follow suit. So then lastly, I will just add, whilst trying to create your essay, you should also study trends, safety trends. Okay, so be diversified, be open to learning, study trends, international opportunities, international problems. Okay, let me give an example. Mr. Solomon talked about using your experience to create your story. So in one of the questions, the boss should ask you, okay, how do you think this qualification would impact in your professional development? So using an international opportunity or a global weakness, for example, let's say child labor situation in most countries, right? Let's also talk about non-compliances in organizations and how regulatory bodies are not actively solving those problems. So you could tell NEBOSH that this is your goal. You want to be probably the ambassador of United Nations in one of these sectors, one of these agencies, and that is your long-term goal. But you need to start from getting the scholarship. You need to start from the grassroots. You need to make sure these things are implemented. You could also say you want to become one of the chief factory inspectors, and one of your goals is to make sure that you enforce all of these safety procedures. So I believe with the right passion, with the right story, NEBOSH would surely pick your essay. So it is very, very achievable, please. It is very, very achievable, irrespective of your location, irrespective of your story. Your story is unique and peculiar to yourself. So it is very achievable, and also it creates opportunities for you. So that is just all I will just share briefly. Mr. Solomon.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. It was very insightful. You have to bring the international element to it, which I didn't emphasize much about, and it's very needed in our responses. Also, you have to add the international element because most of the judges, what I did when I was applying again in the 2023, it's I have to go and read about the judges. The judges, NEBOSH already tell you the judges. One of the Michael, the sister, it's part of the sister that made NEBOSH to generate this scholarship. She's one of the judges. I have to go and check her out on LinkedIn, understand her work, follow her through, like go through her post and try to understand what she is doing. I also try to check out the NEBOSH CEO and understand what she is doing. This makes you to also have a thought process of the people that are going to read your essay, and you align. That is, I see it from the aspect of psychological safety. You align your responses to them so that when they are reading it, they are relating to those responses that you're providing for them, not just something abstract, but it's something them themselves can relate. So thank you, Mr. Victor, for bringing that element. So we're almost coming to an end. I don't know, you can hear me, right?
Yes,
Yes, yes, we
Okay.
can hear you.
All right.
I can.
So we have just two questions remaining, and question number 5. This question is very tricky, and I know a whole lot of us will also make that same mistake. I didn't say all, but some persons will, because I made a mistake in 2022. So the question is asking you, who has inspired you most in your health and safety career? You know, this question is different from every other question that you have. So this one, it taps into your emotional and relational experience. So many applicants, like, they tend to choose famous professionals, like or maybe online figure, and they have never met before, and that's okay. I'm not against that. It's okay, but it may not be like the most relatable or impactful choices. If you want to go with that, I will tell you, because you look up to people based on shared value, shared experience, and the emotional connections that you people have generated over the years. It hits differently from people that you just maybe probably you follow through on social media, and you've not had a direct conversation with them just because of what they are doing. Some persons will be like someone that have inspired me, maybe out of the box. Maybe they will talk Nelson Mandela, maybe people applying for any kind of scholarship because they see him as a public figure in Africa, right? But in this context, I will advise you to use someone you see almost every day, someone that's have had a one-on-one impact in your life, not just abstract or someone coming from maybe online platform. So I will go straight. There is no right way to answer this. I will just go straight to give you a response I generated for this session. And this, it's very compiling and very personal. I try to add personal element, but not of anybody. It's not anybody's story. It just try to stimulate your thinking so that you can think through and think out. It can be your boss in the office. Maybe there is something that your boss is doing that maybe have motivated you as a person. Maybe there is something your neighbor is doing that have motivated you as a person. So this, like those little things, I had a conversation with someone it's been a long time, and he said his neighbor made him to like start having fire extinguishers in his kitchen. Like his neighbor had a fire extinguisher in the car and in the house, and him, as a health and safety person, he don't even have fire extinguishers in his house, or rather in his car. But that is an influence. Someone have influenced you positively. You can talk about those things. Those little things that we overlook is actually what the Bosch wants to see. So let me give you the response I've generated for this. Excuse me. The person who has inspired me most in my health and safety journey is my late uncle, Mr. Peter. It's just a name I generated. He wasn't a certified safety professional, but he worked in a manufacturing plant and was known among his colleagues for always watching out for others. He would wear them, he would wear them about faulty equipment, clean up slippery surfaces, and refuse to use broken PPE. Unfortunately, in 2013, he died in a machinery-related incident at his workplace, an incident that could have been prevented if basic safety procedures had been followed. His death left a lasting impact on my family. But beyond the grief, it opened my eyes to harsh reality faced by thousands of workers in Nigeria and many other developing countries. People exposed to danger every day without training, protection, or even support. Although he's no longer with us, my uncle's influence continues to guide me. His story reminds me that health and safety is not about paperwork or regulations alone. It is about people, their family, and their right to go home alive and well. His memory fuels my passion for learning, advocacy, and changing lives through safety. It is why I pursue every training, including the NEBOSH diploma, with enough purpose. So, like, you try to paint a scenario, right? And you've answered the question the way it should look like. I don't know if Victor have anything to say, but I think Victor, if you have anything to say, please let me know. I can allow you to maybe put more emphasis on this response. But if not, we can go ahead and talk about the last essay.
No, let's go ahead and talk about the last essay. Some persons wants to watch Champions League.
Okay. Sorry, I'm taking time for this, but I try to make sure I address. I was thinking this is going to last just 1 hour, but I'm still shocked people are still in the meeting. That means it's very impactful. So please, we are almost done. This is the last, and we'll open the floor for any question. But if no question, we'll call it a night. So this last question, I'm going to read in totality. This is not personal. So that's why I said this essay, I won't change the response I gave. So the response I'm giving you in this, I'm not going to talk about any other thing. I'm just going straight to give you the response which I submitted during my NEBOSH application. It is very clear. The NEBOSH wants to see your thought process. Diploma requires commitment. I will tell you the truth. It got to some level. I told myself, I think I need to leave this because I wanted to achieve my NEBOSH diploma within a certain time because I had other commitments that was actually coming up. And I told myself, if I don't do this period, it's going to be hard for me to complete this diploma. So, but when I was doing it, I started realizing, I don't think I can achieve this again because it's very tasking and it takes time away for people that are family oriented men. And like you will see, you from work, you come back, you start reading. If it's during exam, when you answer NEBOSH exam, I hope a lot of persons from this platform will get shortlisted. You will see that it takes you hours. When I mean hours to answer questions, not 6 hours. You take a whole time. That's why NEBOSH gives you, for the first part, ID1, gives you a whole month to answer the question. A whole month. So that's to tell you how they want your response to be and how they want it to be deep and detailed. So going to my response, which I gave the NEBOSH, I was very practical and I even achieved more than even the time I gave them. So I started with this. I have designated specific months for ID1, ID2, and ID3 study and revision. October 2023 to February 2024 for ID1, June 2024 to October 2024 for ID2, and January 2025 to May 2025 for ID3. For ID1, 21 Saturdays for study and 22 Sundays for revision, with a total of 7 hours per day and 30 minutes break, including rest. Thus, the total study and revision time for ID1 is 301 hours plus 26.5 hours of break. For ID2 and ID3, 44 Saturdays for study and 44 Sundays for revision with 6 hours per day and 30 minutes break. So the total study and revision time for ID1 and ID2 is 528 hours plus 44 hours of break. Total, the overall study and revision hours is 829 hours. Furthermore, for assessments, I have designated specific months for that. March and April 2024 for ID1, November 2024 for ID2, and June 2025 for ID3. For ID1, 2 Fridays, 4 Saturdays, and 4 Sundays for assessment, with a total of 8 hours per day at 30 minutes break. Thus, the total assessment time for ID1 is 80 hours plus 5 hours of break. For ID2 and ID3, which I told them I will take my annual leave for, 4 Wednesdays, 4 Thursdays, 4 Fridays, 4 Saturdays, and 4 Sundays for assessment with 8 hours per day and 30 minutes break. So the total assessment time for ID1, ID2, and ID3 is 168 hours plus 10 hours of break. Therefore, the overall total for assessment hours is 240 hours. You will see I was very specific in what I was saying, and this did not come based on easy preparation. It came based on adequate research and based on the NEBOSH website. So I soaked myself in the NEBOSH website. I had to understand each module, how many hours have the NEBOSH themselves assigned for each of those modules. So with that stuff, I now came to myself like, oh, this is how you need to assign this. Sometimes when you're trying to do this calculation, it tries to create confusion. I'm not a mathematician, so I was very confused, but I had to calm down and try to ensure I assign hours to each of them, days for them, to ensure that I cover the question that NEBOSH is asking. So I think at this junction, we have done justice to the NEBOSH scholarship question, and I will open the floor for any specific question which anyone wants to ask.
Sorry, Mr. Solomon, I just remembered the references.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say your reference. Someone wants to say something, but go ahead and say the reference.
Okay. The references, the reference you're giving to NEBOSH are also very important. So we need to also start now to contact whosoever would want to recommend us. So the key things you would advise them to fill in should highlight either of the following. It should highlight either volunteerism, your efforts towards volunteerism, or your commitment towards learning, as well your commitment towards helping others, placing yourself second, which is leadership. How well the person have known you and your leadership impacts in that specified period of time. So as NEBOSH should also ask us to get letter headings. So you could use either of these categories, your manager, departmental manager, your HRO leads, either of these IOSH bodies, any professional body you belong to, you could request from the president to, NEBOSH was also was a charity organization. So they recognizes most of charitable bodies as well. So if you could get reference from any of these community services or charity organizations, it can as well go a long way to helping you being selected.
Yeah, I can agree less with what you said, because the references is also as strong as the responses you are giving for the NEBOSH to read, and it's a reflection of someone that can vouch for, oh, Solomon said that he is doing this, and in the reference is reflecting that most of the things I'm saying in my essay, even my referee is referencing them. Maybe my essay in the first part, I said what I did with my my general certificate, I achieved this. Maybe my reference will come and say, I've worked with Solomon for over how many years, and I remember vividly like the achievement he made in ensuring the road transport accident that is involving our drivers and other stuff was reduced. And like this is someone validating what you've said in regards to this first question. So try and also make sure that your reference, like, it's not just those generic kind of reference, but it should be something very specific and that puts you at the spot too. So let's open the floor to Kufri. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that well.
Okay, you did, yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much, Solomon and team. Thank you for putting together this very impactful and enlightening session. We're indeed grateful. All right. I lost out when you were mentioning, I think, the first and the last question. Please, could you please recollect or recall some of those questions again from the first one? Let me just take note of them and begin to also work on them. Thank you very much.
Okay, but it will be very easy for you to just the questions, just go to the NEBOSH website. If you want to apply, you can download the guide. You will get the full question, and I know on the NEBOSH website, if you want to apply, they will just write the question, right? But on the guide, there are also some prompts they added, like in a bracket form for those questions. Like in this question, the judges want to see your personal element. This that I don't know if they are still doing it this year, but I believe it should be there. So the best place to get the comprehensive question will be on the NEBOSH website.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
that's fine. Thank you.
All right. And also to add, I believe I'll try as much as possible to also put out this recording out for maybe people that didn't attend the session or that also want to listen to the session again to internalize everything that we've said so that they will start writing their essay. I will try and check if it's possible to get it out by tomorrow. So, Raphael, you can go ahead. Raphael, your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening. Thank
Yeah,
you,
good evening.
Solomon. Yeah, grateful for this opportunity. I just want to ask on the referee part. Can
Yeah.
you cite your referee as the same person who inspires you in the health and safety career? And can this referee, let's say, be like your health and safety IG1 tutor? Is it possible?
If that's the same place you are still working and they are ready to give you reference, like it can validate what you've said, and maybe the person writing the reference for you can even like talk about probably maybe how they met you initially and how you've grown to become a health and safety person that is very passionate about the job, and it adds some element even when you come to your essay and talk about they are the people that they are the person that inspire you. A whole lot of persons, our line manager inspires us. Some persons, another person inspires them. So if the line manager that is inspiring you and is the one that wants to provide reference for you, that's still fine. There is no exemption based on the NEBOSH website that I see. Like you can't use that. It's based on your own. But if you feel you have any other person, also you can go ahead.
All right. Very
And they
grateful.
should
Thank
they should also stamp it, please. Tell him to stamp on it. They should
Yeah.
stamp on it and sign and use
Yeah.
a letter heading. Very important.
Yeah, they should stamp. And like I know some companies have policy of on how they can use their letterheaded. So, but it was very easy for me because like my line manager already spoke with the HR and collected approval, and it was very easy to make use of the company's letterheaded for me when I was writing when I was submitting. So you can maybe understand your organization policy in regards to use of letterheaded. Some companies are very strict on that. Some they are free when it's being used for writing a reference for their workers. So you can just verify that and make sure they sign the stamp. That stamp is important with the letterheaded because it validates that this person is actually working in this capacity and like they can vouch for you. If it's even possible, they should still put there in the letter headed, like in the letter. If they need further details, they can contact them on their official email. The official email should be also showing there, so it makes like it validates a whole lot of like this reference wasn't just generated out of the blue moon. It's generated from someone that is actually working in that field. So any other question? Raphael, hope I answered the question very clearly.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Solomon.
All right, Caleb, please go ahead. Uzoigwe Caleb. You can unmute yourself, okay? Caleb, can you go ahead? Okay, I think Caleb, can you hear me? So any other question? Do you need clarity in some of the essay? If like I would have volunteered to do some review of some person's essay, but due to my commitment, I don't really want to say what I can do. So, but I from the depth of my heart, I definitely, because like why I decided to hold this webinar, a whole lot of persons have contacted me on LinkedIn about this, and I've seen that trying to give personal attention to each and every one of them, then it's going to affect my own productivity as a person based on things I'm doing. So I believe with this, you're fully armed to answer that question very correctly. So I think without any other question, we'll call it a day. And I really appreciate you guys for joining. And I will try as much as possible to also post the link to the video. I don't have a YouTube channel, but I'll find a place to find how I can post so that people can access the video and watch the video. So
right, thank you.
To
Dropbox.
get it, you can also probably to know when I post it. Probably you can check me out on LinkedIn, Solomon Munachimso. My name, it's what I'm using on LinkedIn, so that like when I post the details about the meeting and the link, you will definitely get them.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you
Take
very
care.
much. Yeah.
Bye everyone.